going to see this painting step by step in the following video. You are looking at the petals painted with Winsor red and the leaves with Winsor yellow. You will see numerous petals and leaves painted throughout this video. I'm painting in a vertical position, so I'm having to do a lot of work to keep the water from running down the paper. Now you see the Winsor red just floating down on the water. Naturally, both sides of this petal must be dry before you do that. More water is being applied to another petal or two. Here comes more water, trying to control it. A lot of brush strokes because it is vertical. The grey blobs you see are frisket. They are the buds of the poinsettia. This is a sharp instrument. The petal is wet and I'm impressing the veins in with the sharp instrument, and the paint will tumble into the trench that's left as the instrument digs a little trench. The paint will roll in there. It's very hard to see on this side, but there will be there. Watch how the paint follows the waterline. Did you see that? It just run down the side there. Painting around the frisket. In goes another leaf and another petal rather. There is more or less the first stage of the painting, just a weak wash of both colors. Now I'm going to apply the same system to the leaves. I'm wetting the Winsor yellow and I will apply the dark green, which will be a combination of sap green and Prussian blue or ultramarine blue, or you could even use Antwerp blue. Frankly, it is a little uncomfortable for me to paint on a vertical surface and speak at the same time. It just seemed a little awkward to me, but bear with me, I'll get used to doing it. When you paint the leaves or the petals, you must paint every other one. Do not paint two next to each other that are both wet, or you will have some problems of them bleeding into each other. So I leave a gap and go to the next one. There you go. Now on the leaves, I did apply some frisket to the veins. You can see the frisket now. If you look real careful at the leaf I'm now painting, you'll see the veins going across the leaf. They will be taken out in the final painting. Seems like I made really good progress with the leaves now, and I'm applying the second coat of Windsor Red to the petals. There might well be as many as 4 different glazes on some of these petals. This is number 2 on this particular petal. Now I'm using 2 brushes, one with paint and one with water. Now the one with the water must be almost damp or she will cause some blossoms. So it has to be fairly dry, and just pour the paint down. I use 2 brushes at the same time. There you go, Jim. Again, they're being applied a coat of water. Now while you're looking at the leaves, do you see the underglow of the yellow in those leaves? That's what you ought to aim for every time you paint a leaf, and even foliage on a tree. Put a yellow undercoat, then come in with the green. Here I'm using the belly of the brush just to go round the perimeter of this petal. See how the brush just bent round the shape? Look, watch. Incidentally, that's a number 14 brush, 14 round brush. Both brushes are 14s. Another coat of red, trying to build up some body in that petal. Now I've pretty much got all the undercoatings, all the extra coatings on the petals, and now I'm going to put in the background. Now if for some reason the petal isn't the right shape, if you use a dark background you can shape the petal if it's not to your liking. Look, there you go. Here comes the brush with just the damp brush now. I'm using a watercolor sprayer just to put some texture into that green and let it just run. Now leave it alone. Shaping the leaves as I go. Actually, what I did here, I've moved the board around to make it a little more convenient. There's no law that says you'd have to keep the painting in the same position on the easel. I've moved mine around quite a bit. Now, I do not want that green right now to be that dark when it approaches those green leaves. So watch what I do. See, I've destroyed that edge with the sprayer. Wipe that up in case they sneak under the tape and show up as a bad blossom around the edge. I added a little bit of red to the green, and that's going to come out a little grayish to start with, but I will increase it. I will increase the red as I go around the painting. You'll see. Wipe the edges, Jim. There's a good boy. Move the painting around. I want you to know I have broken up the background into sections by some of the leaves or the petals going off the paper, so I don't have a big area to paint all at once. I can break it up into little sections. This appears to be the largest section I had to paint at any given time. And it was designed like that right from the get-go. the red being the opposite color to green are really beginning to make those leaves stand out. There you go, Jim. Put some thicker paint on. There you go. That will scare you. Now you can see examples of breaking the background up into little shapes. Now I want a little transition of the green against the red petal. I'm just doing the very last bit of the background, just stroking it in. It's a light green just to complement the red. And if you really paint a dark background, you can then shape the petals if you so wish. In this case, as it's a light background, we can't shape the petals too much. I'm spraying it just to give it some texture. Wiping the bottom so I don't get any blossoms on the bottom of the painting. The paint runs under the tape and appears in about half an hour. Turning the board. This is now the right way up.